Did you pay attention, Byron?
Shit was crazy.
Yeah,
Those combos.
Yeah. That was his debut, bro. That was his first time in the UFC. He just came from the UK. And he started talking trash at the end, saying that he's the new cash cow in the UFC.
Oh, really?
We'll see if that's true or not.
An impressive win. Debut.
All right, you want to angle it, Byron, now that he's sitting there? Because you kept moving it, trying to gas, and I told you just wait till he sits there, bro.
Yeah, we got it now.
All right, cool. All right.
All right, let's do this. Let's go live, bro.
Hey, Enzo, stop looking at your phone, yeah?
Enzo.
Because you're busting an Enzo.
You can change the angle now, Byron. You're good to go. Yo. Welcome to Sports Wave episode 44. How you guys doing today? Manny and Byron, no Enzo today.
Enzo will be with us next time. He can't be with us today. But we're doing wonderful. We're here, and we're ready to talk about sports.
You know what I mean? How we do every Monday, guys. So, I mean, it's been a while for me being in this chair. I've been in the producer role for the last couple months, but, you know, we gotta cover where it's needed, you know, pretty much. So here I am today, hosting with y'all, and yeah, man, it's cool as hell. It's been a cool
How does
ride.
it feel to be back in the couch? Does it feel like the couch hugs you now?
It feels comfortable as fuck. Man. My back is feeling amazing right now. I'm like, yeah.
Do you understand why we say we get sleepy when we're on the couch?
Definitely, but I think it's all about just. I mean, it's the first minute going on right now, so we'll see how
we'll see how it progresses
in the next 5 minutes. You know
all
what
right,
I mean? But I know what you mean. I know what you guys meant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. It gets a little sleepy in there.
Yeah.
Well, we got to start off with international soccer happened this week. We're not covering every game. There's a lot of international games and a lot of stuff. But because of international soccer, there is no club soccer this week. Club soccer is returning for this weekend. But there was a few little interesting ones that we want to bring up in the international. The first one being USA versus El Salvador. The reason we want to bring it up is because it was played, in El Salvador. The president of El Salvador was present during that game.
Swear.
Yeah, he posted a video of him being there. So it's interesting, to be 0-0 with the U.S. It sucks that it ended in a tie. How did you guys feel about the game?
Well, for me, the disappointing part above all else was the fact that they tied both games. They also played against Honduras, and they were both playing in El Salvador. So it's like you have the advantage for the most part to win at home and have some points to at least they could have walked away with 6 points easily.
Yeah, because these are our qualifiers for the World Cup.
They could have been at the top of the table and all that stuff, and that's what kind of makes me a bit upset. But at the same time, we're talking about El Salvador here. But USA also tied against Canada, and we have Canada next in Canada. So there's a lot of
there's still possibility to go up in the ranks.
At least, yeah.
But if you get the points,
yeah, at the very least to get some kind of points, like you said, and whatnot. So that's what's expected right now from CONCACAF. Mexico was able to win against Jamaica, I know, so I think they're at the top of the table right now. I don't know about their second game on Sunday. I don't know who they played. I think they played Costa Rica. Not too sure.
Let me check that out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. In the meanwhile,
Enzo, by the way, said he's here in spirit. He's being a big advocate for me to say that. So there you go, Enzo. You're here in spirit.
Wait, where's the little incense, bro, that we gotta light up so that he's here in spirit?
I mean, I offered him to join via Zoom, but it would have been a little weird too, just because I don't know how to get that onto the live. But
and they got Panama on Wednesday.
We got Panama Wednesday, so
okay.
we'll see how that. Who has Panama Wednesday?
Mexico.
Mexico. So yeah, that's the day I think that El Salvador will be playing against um Canada in Canada. They're gonna go to the 6 to play against Drake's team. You know,
Yes, sir.
That's a good one.
pretty much.
That's a good one.
Yeah, but tell me about Brazil versus Argentina, man. Something crazy happened
I
there.
mean, it is a real controversial topic. Basically, some player, when you go travel from one country to another, there's regulations from each country to quarantine. Brazil is still doing the 14-day quarantine, and especially because the players are coming from the UK. So the thing was that they landed, they entered, but they didn't fulfill the 14 days of quarantine, right? And because they didn't fulfill that, and then they started the game with these players, the authorities from Brazil invaded the pitch, stopped the game, and took the 4 players in order to deport them out of the country for breaking the regulations of COVID. That being said, Messi did say something interesting after the game. He did say, okay, if that was the case, why did they wait until we started the match, right? If that was the case, why did they didn't say this earlier and stop the match before? Because the match was already like 5 minutes in when this happened, so it was kind of weird that they allowed them to start. So then this also brings up the controversy of, did the authorities of Brazil do this just because they were spiteful of losing to Argentina, just a
Right?
few months ago? Or was this really about, COVID protocol?
Yeah,
What's your guys'
That's a
take
good
on
one.
it?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, but the fact that they started the match, yeah, it's a little controversial. It's like, man, why even start the match? Why not be on top of this? Let it get to this point, Um, and in many cases, in other sports, when I've seen that someone tests positive or something goes wrong, they'll approach that player specifically and they'll remove them from the event. Don't get me wrong, but not in the way where it's like they had to stop this whole match, and it affects these teams going to the World Cup.
Yes, it does. Well, the game is suspended for now, so they might redo the game later on. But the thing that you do have to take into consideration is the fact that, how you were saying, like, these players were on the pitch, the players that they needed to get out. It wasn't like these players were on the bench.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. I think they would have handled it in a different way if those players would have been on the bench. They probably just would have gone onto them on the bench and just be like, "Hey, you guys gotta go." But because these players were actually on the pitch, it went down the way it went down, where they physically went into the pitch.
Yeah. Do you know how far the game got in before they?
Yeah,
stopped it?
5 minute mark.
Bruh.
Yeah, that's why Messi said that. Where it's like, if you guys knew this, like, why would you wait until we started the game? Like, why was none of this said prior?
True.
Because it is a little fishy, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, at least from the way it looks on the outside, at least with the limited information we do have at the moment, it does seem a little suspicious.
It's like, why would you guys let 5 minutes go?
And then invaded the pitch.
Yeah.
Question. What's gonna happen with those players? Those 4 players, are they suspended?
Well, yeah, technically, all 4 players play in the UK, and all 4 players need to return back to the UK. They can so whenever they do the game again, those 4 players cannot play. So that the 4 players, you have the article up there, Maury. If I'm not mistaken, it's Giovanni Lo Celso, which is a
which is a
midfielder.
goalkeeper.
Emiliano, which is the goalkeeper, and then Giovanni Lo Celso, which is a midfielder. And there's 2 more players.
It says Martinez right there.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know who else.
Cristian Romero, he's a right winger.
And
Emiliano
Buendia.
Buendia, yeah. So it's like you have those 4 players who now cannot, come onto the game or be part of the game. So now it's like now that you don't have these players, that also mixes up the lineup. Now you got to call up other players, whether they be from Argentina or they be from a different country, for them to play, because it's easier, to be honest, to play with, like, if they call up players from Argentina, it would be easier for them, just because it's a neighboring country, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, how it ends up going, if they're gonna call players from Argentina, or if they're actually gonna call up players from another place. But who knows where they're gonna be able to call up.
Would they be eligible to like call up like their minors, like somebody's like 20, or is that impossible?
No, it's not impossible. I mean, they can call them up. It's just how do you fit these players in? They haven't played with the squad. It doesn't matter who comes in. It's like, can these players adapt? To, like, they're gonna have to, most likely, like, the starting 11 is gonna have to be with whatever they do have right now, and whoever they call up is probably gonna have to be part of the bench, because they don't know
Strategy.
basically the tactics that they implement. And because it's different, like, it's a different game style, it's a different formation. Players get used to playing in their clubs, because that's what you're constantly being trained on. So when you're playing in a club and you're constantly being trained on that, it's a different thing once you go to international, because once you go to international, they're asking you, like, I want you to do this, which sometimes can be the opposite of what you're asked to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why, like, when they do international breaks, they give you a few days for you to adapt before you have a game. So that's the whole thing. Now these players don't have those days to go to practice. They just gotta plug and play.
Basically, they're improvising.
Yep. Yep. And that leads to a lot of mistakes.
See how that goes.
Yeah, because if you don't know how to play with someone, or you're not used to playing with someone, that's what happens.
Interesting. And yeah, I mean, I did see that also France lost this weekend, right?
I believe they tied.
Okay.
I didn't know. I don't think they lost. I believe they tied. Byron can double check me on that. I know that they tied from what I understood. What does it say?
It says they tied 1-1 versus Ukraine.
Oh yeah, versus Ukraine.
Yeah,
and they play tomorrow against Finland.
Yeah. See. I was like, I know they didn't lose. I was like, I know I saw it.
And then, I mean, last week we talked about during the current podcast on Wednesday, we talked about how Ronaldo scored a couple goals, right? Too that put him out as the top international scorer.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He has scored 111 goals, and now he's at the top of international scoring. Yeah. But what sucks is that because he took off his jersey after the second goal he scored, they gave him a yellow. So that was too many yellows piled up, which makes him I can't even
ineligible for the next one.
Yeah, sorry, my tongue got tongue twisted at that moment. But yeah, he can't participate in that next game, so he decided to just go back to Manchester. Which he has been posting about him and his girlfriend, or I don't even know if to call him his girlfriend or wife, because he's not married to her technically.
Yeah, it's his wife.
But I see it as his wife, because he does have kids with her and he lives with her. But yeah, he's already in Manchester with her. He's already posted pictures with her, with the family, the place he has, and the sheeps that he has and everything. So, yeah.
Living life, huh?
What do you think about?
Well, it's a different lifestyle. That's the other thing. Is like a lot of people hate going to England, bro. I don't know if you know about how England is, but England is very gloomy, right? So I don't know if you ever been to Seattle, here in the United States.
No, I haven't.
So if you ever go to Seattle, Seattle is very gloomy, and you rarely see sun.
Oh.
Like the majority of the year, it's always dark skies. And, like, the sun breaks in for a couple of hours, where, like, it's usually from, like, 12 to maybe, like, 3, where you'll see sunlight come in, and then gloomy again. So that's kind of like the way England is, where it's very gloomy most of the time. And that type of weather depending on your psychological, it can affect you a lot. People end up getting depressed
Right,
from
right.
being in that type of weather. So that's why a lot of people don't like going to play at England, even though England has an interesting league. A lot of people don't like going there because of that, right? Um, so that's why a lot of players prefer to like be in Spain. Like if you talk in Spain, you're talking sun, beach, like there's all this good stuff to go to. Same thing if you're talking about Italy, if you're talking about France, like these are countries where there's a lot of things to do.
Speaking about Italy, just to
Yeah.
pivot real quick, fans went crazy when they saw LeBron in Italy.
Oh, I seen
Or
that.
he's vacation. He's getting on a yacht or a cruise ship. I don't know what
With
it
his
is.
wife, right?
With his
Yeah.
wife, right? So they're going crazy over LeBron being over there in Italy. And the Lakers most likely might have another player added to their roster. It's not finalized yet, but what do you think about DeAndre Jordan joining the Lakers?
I mean, it makes sense. They're trying to kind of mimic what they had with JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard. So I mean, adding him is like adding another, Dwight Howard. It makes sense. It doesn't hurt them. Um,
With the possibility of Marc Gasol leaving too.
that's the thing, though, man. It's like I understand that Marc Gasol isn't fast anymore, and because he's older, but he does bring the spacing on the floor. So if there is a possibility, I know he might not get as much minutes if he does stay. But if there is a possibility of him staying, it would be interesting for him to stay just because you could plug him in certain plays, right? Against certain teams where he could bring that spacing to the floor that you require. Because, like I said, you would basically end up having two centers that would be similar in DeAndre Jordan and Dwight Howard.
Yeah, I just feel like Dwight Howard has evolved his game. Not that he's like a 3-point shooter now, but just comparing him to DeAndre Jordan, I feel like um, Dwight Howard has just a step above. So it's like he's gonna have something more to bring to the table.
Well, I give you that. I give you that Dwight is a better
But I know
center.
what you mean when you say
but
about
but
Marc
like what I'm
Gasol.
saying is that they're very similar.
No doubt, I get what you
Their
mean.
game style is very similar. Now, who gives you better intensity in the game? Dwight Howard, obviously. I would choose Dwight Howard at starting over DeAndre Jordan. You get me? But the game style is very similar.
Yeah, I get what you mean there. And I mean, it is going to be interesting to see what happens with this Laker team. You know, there's all this critique about. I mean, it is fact. It's an older team.
Yeah, a lot of people are calling
But
it
it's
the
a deep
antique
team.
store.
It's a deep team.
You know,
And when you're talking about an 82 game season, it's important to have a deep team. It's important to have an experienced team too. So, you know, we can minimize mistakes and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to a great season, a fun team too, because you know you have Dwight Howard on the bench and you have these guys that I feel like they want to be with the team. Like we're talking about Rondo now, it's on the team. Like these are guys that man, they've already won a championship together. So just you put in the
yeah,
again.
and I believe the mentality that Rondo gives you. You know, Rondo becomes your locker room guy, where he can call these guys out and get them into place.
What were you guys calling him 2 seasons ago? I think floor general or something.
He is a floor general, definitely. He gets your because this one of the things that he's known for is watching a lot of video. So he's always reviewing the way teams like one of the reasons that the Lakers were so good in the bubble was because Rondo was able to read the defense of the opposition and he was like letting them know like how to defeat them. That's one of the factors. So bringing him back in his high level IQ of basketball, it makes a lot of sense to have him on the team.
Definitely.
And also like I mean also too he can also give come in. Basically, the minutes that Caruso was taking up are the minutes they're going to give to him, where he can come and give rest to Russell Westbrook and come and give rest to LeBron if LeBron is starting on the one, whatever it may be. But yeah, no, I think it's a wonderful pickup, in that sense. I mean, I've also heard that the most underrated pickup that we've had is Kendrick Nunn, and that might be like one of the most explosive players we might see this season. What do you think on that?
I agree, and I feel like also the other guy, Malik Monk.
Malik Monk. Well, he was a 3-point shooter.
And
I
that's
believe.
funny because both of them were working out together today at the Laker facility.
I believe he was shooting, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, like around 38% last season. So Malik Monk was a really good 3-point shooter for the Hornets. I mean, if you even look up highlights of him just shooting threes for the Hornets, he was shooting some interesting shots.
Damn, man, and it's gonna be interesting too to see what lineups we do. There was something I was hearing about as far as who's the more consistent shooter is Wayne Ellington, and I've been saying that he should be the one starting.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's gonna be the first one I see them try out. But it's just gonna
start at the 2.
Yeah, and that's why going back to last week when we're talking about Hard Knocks, and having a basketball version of it. That's why I feel like this team would be a perfect selection for a NBA version of Hard Knocks because you have all these contributing factors to want to watch what's going to happen with this team. Who's going to be the starting shooting guard? You know, who's going to be a starting lineup? You know, you have all these people competing.
Well,
for
you know that 3 positions are already solidified.
No doubt.
On that starting, right?
Well, who are the 3? Or actually, never mind.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
I forgot about Russell Westbrook for a second.
Yeah.
But for sure, we're talking about who's going to be.
It's just who are the other 2 positions. That's literally what comes down
and
to.
At the same
or
time,
the formation, I would say.
But they're very important because we were talking about a team that has, you have Rondo in there. You have Dwight Howard. You have Trevor Ariza. You have Carmelo Anthony. You had this guy Malik Monk in there and Wayne Ellington. You have so many.
Don't forget
factors.
about Bazemore.
Kent Bazemore, man.
Yeah,
but he's gonna for sure be a bench player, no doubt. So that's something that it's so many moving pieces. So it would make it such an intriguing thing to have a Hard Knocks to see who's gonna win that starting role. You know, who's gonna be the person to win those minutes. You know, and just thinking about Russell Westbrook, like I know he's coming here to contribute as a point guard and all that. But you also have Rondo there, and it just makes me think, man. In college, this guy was a shooting guard. I mean, I wouldn't doubt that they try to use him at that position every now and
Russell?
then. Yeah.
To play him on the 2?
Yeah. Just because of his speed and different things, but it just goes to the interesting aspect of what's gonna happen with this team. So NBA, if you're listening, you should do a Hard Knocks, something similar to that.
That'd be dope.
That'd be crazy, man. But yeah, that's the NBA right there, and before you know it, we'll be hitting NBA preseason. We gotta get through this month of September, but before you know it, we'll be hitting NBA preseason. I gotta actually check when that starts. But I know it does start this week, and that's the start of the NFL season. And we have the Super Bowl reigning champions Buccaneers taking on the Cowboys. Taking on the Cowboys this Thursday, and that's one thing I do like about the NFL nowadays is that they start their seasons on Thursdays now, with that one you could say prime time game, give some hype to Thursday nights, and the NFL's back. And what better to do it with the Super Bowl champs going up against America's team?
It was gonna be a good game then.
Cowboys, and I think from what it looks of it, they're playing in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
What you think about that game there, Byron? Because they're talking about Prescott might not play.
Then the Bucks got that game.
That's what I was about to say.
And then they're talking about Cam Newton might go to the Cowboys.
Been hearing rumors about that too.
You don't think the Saints pick him up?
Nah.
I feel like if that were to happen, that would probably happen maybe in the mid-season, or maybe a quarterback goes down. But I don't think we'd pick him up. Even though I badly want another quarterback, but
would you take him?
So just a quick side note for the Lakers to start.
He's a reject of the Patriots.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't take Cam Newton?
Just a quick side note, you guys. The Lakers preseason starts October 3rd. So essentially a month from now, we'll be having Laker basketball back in our life, and we'll be seeing who's gonna get that starting role. But yeah, as far as Cam Newton goes, man, I think giving Dak Prescott situation, he's gonna probably be a Cowboy. I think. I don't see him going anywhere else besides that, just because of the.
That's the only team that you see him that is available because of their situation.
Not because of availability, but just because of they need it. Just because of whatever happens with Dak Prescott, these other teams that are rumored to go after him, they essentially have a healthy quarterback. Like the Raiders
Mhm.
are another team that they've been talking about, and these other teams, but they have already some kind of competent, stable quarterback for the season at least. While Dak Prescott is coming off of injury, and he has another injury looming around, and then you put Cam Newton into an offense that he has a running back like Ezekiel Elliott, also with a wide receiver like Amari Cooper, and I don't know who else they have, but he can probably do some things there. You never know. And they have
Some guy named Glenn, I think.
is McCarthy still there as their coach?
Yep.
So you have that guy. Who knows what he can do with another running quarterback. So we'll see what happens there. But besides that, we have the Packers
Boo.
in New Orleans, right? Or this case, where they're gonna be at because of Hurricane Ida. Where are they going?
They're playing in Jacksonville. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think we confirmed that not too long ago. We were talking about that, how it was supposed to be in Cowboy Stadium, but now it's gonna be in Jacksonville because of Hurricane Ida.
I actually read an interesting stat. I don't know exactly the number, but a reasoning why the Saints chose to play in Jacksonville in that stadium is because the odds are against Rodgers in that stadium.
Oh wow, they're playing that. They're playing that game, so they're playing this Sunday, bro.
Superstition.
For me, one thing. So last year it was a little weird, but this usually, man, I love Sundays because of NFL. You know what I mean? You just have some good games going on, and when you have a game like the Packers versus the Giants, man, that's the game to watch that day. Cause even the night game, Bears Rams. Don't get me wrong, he got the first game, not the first one, but I think it's gonna be the
Did you
first
say
game.
Packers?
Yeah, he
Giants?
did, and I was like, it's the Broncos versus the Giants.
No. What I'm trying to say is that this is the first game for the Rams with fans in SoFi Stadium, so it's gonna probably be a big deal. And man, I had a friend that went to a preseason game and he took pictures of it. Shout out to Chris.
At SoFi?
Yeah, and it looked
Sick.
like a freaking video game in there. It looks ridiculous in SoFi Stadium. So I don't get me wrong, I'm excited to see that. But besides that, just the game to watch because of the two teams going up against each other, I would have to say it's the Packers and the Saints. Besides that, I don't see any other team. Don't get me wrong, that Cardinals Titans game is gonna be a good one too. Besides that,
Maybe Steelers Bills.
Steelers Bills will probably be a good game. Seahawks Colts is gonna be interesting. Besides that, hopefully the Broncos can hold it down against the Giants in week 1. Then the Ravens are hosted by the Raiders in the Las Vegas Allegiant Stadium. See what happens there. But I mean, that's week 1, and we'll go week by week with you guys, and we might come up with our own power rankings between me and Byron. We'll see what's up. But the next thing that's going on is the Dodgers. The Dodgers.
Los Dodgers.
Did you keep up with them this weekend, Byron?
I didn't really watch the games like that, but I was keeping up somewhat with the score. I correct me if I'm wrong, but they played 3 games with the Giants against the Giants, right?
Yeah, and it looks
And I
like
think
they
won
won
2 out of 1. I mean 2 out of 3. Sorry.
2 out of 1. 2 out of 3. Yeah. So they did. They dropped the first game, which was against them on Friday, and they won the next 2 games. And I think what was it on Friday? I think Friday something happened with David Price where he wasn't able to pitch.
No way.
So it was like a bullpen game for the Dodgers that day. So I think that's why they lost. But then the next day, Bueller came in, I believe. Or no, Urias. And then I don't know who pitched yesterday. Point is that they won, and now, but still, since they lost, they're like a game or half a game behind the
Giants.
Giants. Yeah. Well, right now they're a game behind. So they just, luckily that's not too bad. But given that this is the last month of the regular season, they gotta step it up because they got they're in a series with the Cardinals right now. They beat them today, 5-1. They got 2-3 more games against them. And then they go up against the Padres. And that's the funny thing, guys. The speculation was gonna be that their rival this season was gonna be against the Padres, and the Padres kind of let the ball drop, and now it's all about the classic rival in the San Francisco Giants.
NorCal versus.
But the Giants have a lot of issues with their starting pitching. Yeah. Basically what you said. They have a lot of issue right now with their starting pitching, and they have some injuries too. So, it's the opportunity for the Dodgers to hop on it. and to get over the hump. And this will be, if they do win, if they were to win this, this could be their ninth. This would be technically their ninth NL West division championship, if you will.
And I'm looking at.
I don't know if you could call it championship, but they're the winners of the division for 9 years straight.
I'm looking at the Giants' schedule right now. They're playing the Rockies in the series right now. They won 10-5, and then they got the Cubs after.
Yeah, and then so we got the Cardinals, Padres, the Diamondbacks, Reds, the Rockies, and then I think we rolled it up, and then the Diamondbacks again, Padres, and then the team that's kind of a sleeper team right now, the Milwaukee Brewers. So that's it for the Dodgers battling for the first in the NL West, and I think they could do it. But now we have Naomi Osaka, who just lost in I think it was the U.S. Open. And after her loss, so in a post-match interview at the U.S. Open last week, Naomi Osaka said in a tearful goodbye to the sport, the decision seemed to be perpetuated by her defending champion stunning loss to Leylah Fernandez. The loss was a surprising ending to the first Grand Slam back from withdrawing from the French Open and Wimbledon earlier this year due to mental health concerns. And this is an article from hypebeast.com that I am reading. And basically, I think we did talk about this on the podcast.
Yeah, we did. We talked
about her not wanting to
because the media was asking her dumb questions.
And now she's back in the U.S. Open, loses, and is saying she's stepping back from competition indefinitely. Would you continue to attribute this to mental health? Just looking at it on the surface, Manny, or what would you think?
I mean, it could be that she's no longer in love with the sport. I mean, it does happen to a lot of people. An example of that is Carmelo Anthony, where he had to step away, and he wasn't in love with basketball anymore, and he had he got reignited to love basketball again. From teaching his kids. So it could be a similar thing where she might be falling out of love with the sport. Might have other interest. You also got to remember who her boyfriend is, which is a famous artist that you also like. So who knows if she feels like I can step away from this and do something else now, and she does have all that influence and and endorsements and stuff. So I mean, she can make herself into something else if she wanted to.
Yeah, no doubt. And then she's the one that's dating Corday, right?
Correct.
What if she becomes a rapper?
A female rapper.
Become a crazy duo, bro.
Or if becomes a producer. I mean, there's a lot of things she can do, man.
Who's to say?
Yeah.
Who's to say? So that was it for the waves, guys. We didn't really say it was waves, but that was waves, y'all. Combat sports. Before we go into UFC Fight Night, Oscar De La Hoya got COVID and he is basically in the hospital.
Yeah, he had to pull out of his fight
against Vitor Belfort.
Yeah, at 48 years old.
And right now the IG comparison is him getting COVID and Joe Rogan getting COVID. And like Enzo pointed out, this guy Oscar De La Hoya,
Joe Rogan's 54.
Not just that, Oscar De La Hoya is a cokehead, alcoholic, so that shit's gonna hit him like a fucking train, And Joe Rogan,
weed and shrooms,
pretty much, and then just takes care of his body, works out, beats the bitch in him every day. He gotta do. So that's the comparison there. I just wanted to bring that up because we're talking about combat sports.
But he also takes a lot of vitamins. He also
horse pills.
He took horse pills in order to fight COVID, but that's not what he takes on the daily.
Though. Hey, who's to say?
He says it all the time if you listen to this pod, bro.
Who's to say, bro?
All right, who's to say?
Bro, he does a lot of DMT. What if he accidentally takes horse pills? Who's to say?
It's laced.
No, who's to say?
Yeah, who's to say if it's laced?
Hey, bro, we just had someone. Who was it that just? There was a comedian that just died of cocaine laced with fentanyl. Come on, bro. Who's to say, bro?
Oh, is that what he died of?
Yeah, it was laced.
One of the guys that died earlier this week. The guy that died today, Michael Williams.
Yeah.
I don't know what he died of, but they're saying it's an overdose as well.
Well, it's because they said it's an overdose. They were saying it was drug related. That's why I was thinking he came out in The Wire. He came out in why am I forgetting this show that I actually liked? Boardwalk Empire. he was a pretty badass character in Boardwalk Empire. But yeah, they found him dead today. Feel bad, but feel rest in peace. But what was that? A comedian though? Cause I don't remember that one.
I forget his name. I wasn't even too familiar with him to begin with, if I'm being honest. But yeah. That's what I have to say. But tell me about UFC Fight Night, bro. And what did you see?
Well, what I saw, I mean, the first fight, debut for I can't even say this guy's name. I probably gotta hear it, but it's Pimblett, I would assume.
Paddy Pimblett.
Yeah, that's what I would assume.
Lightweight champion from Liverpool.
Yeah, he came from the UK. This was his debut. For the UFC versus Vedramini. I'm gonna butcher his name as well. And it was good. I actually liked it. I enjoyed it because the guy kept up his end of the bargain the whole entire time. During press conference, he was talking trash, saying that he was gonna knock him out in the first round. That he was gonna prove to the spectators that he belongs in the UFC, that he should be in the UFC. He also started talking about how he's going for the title. He's gonna be the next hot thing. And to come in and actually knock TKO the guy within the first round, as he said he would, pretty impressive. Even though he himself almost got TKO'd himself during that first round, but it's impressive for him to actually fulfill what he said he would do. And at the end of the fight, he brags and talks about how he's the new cash cow now for the UFC and how he's gonna go rise to the top. But what'd you think of his fight? Like, how did you see it? Do you think it was good, or do you think his opponent wasn't a good match for him? Like, what did you think about it?
I think that we're talking about Pimblett, right?
Correct.
So I feel that, like they were saying, his head movement needs to be increased a little more, and he's more known as a wrestler, if I'm not mistaken. So his to see him being able to knock someone out too is pretty impressive and whatnot. So it's his debut, man. So he got a knockout, and the way I see it is, you're not gonna throw him into the wolves den unless it's a very very important occasion. Like for example, Michael Chandler, and he came over as a champion. He's coming over from Bellator, and you're already fighting in the U.S. and it's a different situation. Well, it's just there's levels to everything. So I'm not mad at it. I'm cool with Paddy Pimblett having his first fight like this, and just we're talking about a stacked lightweight division. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got to work his way up there,
definitely,
step by step, and there's a lot of good people in that division.
You know what I mean? And so, it's gonna be interesting to see who is the next one he fights. I do expect it to be maybe a lower level talent like that, but just depending on how confident he is and what the UFC throws at him, man, he can fight someone like Cowboy Cerrone next off, for all we know, at lightweight, just because Cowboy goes down to that weight class at some time to time. Another name that just comes to mind for right now is probably even Tony Ferguson could fight him. Who knows?
I think it's too early for to throw him a Ferguson.
You know what I mean? So that's why. Yeah. It's interesting to see what happens.
I mean, if they did that, it'd be interesting, and if he won Ferguson, that would be a different thing.
Yeah, I mean,
but I feel like it's too early.
Let me see UFC rankings real quick. But it's hard to say because it's stacked. But when we're talking about stacked, it's also, let's say 10 and up is super stacked. Let me look at it right now. The lowest one right now is Diego Moses, so he can fight someone like that. Brad Riddle at number 12, Diego Ferreira, Gregor Gillespie, Conor McGregor at number 9. That's hilarious. But yeah, Gregor Gillespie could be a worthy opponent for Paddy Pimblett next. Dan Hooker, I know, has a fight coming up this week, so he can easily drop or go back up. But once we start talking about going to the top 10, we're talking about Dan Hooker, Rafael dos Anjos, Tony Ferguson, Islam Makhachev, Michael Chandler, Beneil Dariush, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, you know what I mean? So they're dogs in that division, man. So I would say Gregor Gillespie, Diego Ferreira. that he'd be stepping over a lot of people, but I don't think it'd be the worst thing. Even Brad Riddle would be a pretty good or is it Rydell? Who knows? But the next fight with Khalil Roundtree, I've seen Khalil Roundtree find a good amount of times. He won, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
He's the one that did the stomp on the oblique.
He was throwing freaking heat, bro.
Yeah, no, he came out very aggressive.
Because the other guy, I think it was also his debut, right?
I don't know.
I remember hearing him say something like that, and and it just looked like he was just trying to show him, like, bro, you can't come into here. And
he came out very aggressive. He was punching the guy right off the bat. He controlled the fight the the majority of the time of it. He had the guy backing up the entire time. So a lot of what I was seeing was, man, I don't think this kid, the person he was against is actually gonna be able to go through it, man. And that kick, he kept trying to set it up. That kick that he does land on him. He threw a few kicks just to get it bruised and everything. But when he finally lands that stomp kick the way he wants it to land,
am I tripping or is his thigh bruised the fuck up right there?
That's because he had kicked it before.
Bro, shit.
Yeah, so Roundtree was kicking it from the beginning. So he was preparing it for when he does his stomp kick, bro. So when he does his stomp kick, that it's such a nasty fall too, man. For you guys, if you guys haven't watched it, looked it up. It happens towards the end of the round. That you see it right there, right before that. Yeah, and you hear him scream.
Oh,
you see
one.
Yeah, so he was trying to set up that stomp kick, and you see it right when he's gonna do it. Bam.
Oh man.
It's such a nasty one.
Bro.
And you can hear him scream like it's disgusting, bro.
Fuck. That shit looked bad. That looked really bad.
Yeah, no, they had to brace it up right away. So
yeah, they're talking about making that kick illegal in the UFC because it's very.
I mean that's how who did Darren Till beat like that, and then Whitaker did it to him.
No. Whitaker got it done to him by Yoel Romero, and then Whitaker did it to Darren Till.
Didn't someone do it to Darren Till as well though?
Yeah, Whitaker.
No. I know Whitaker did it to Darren Till, but I remember after that, Darren Till says that kick should be illegal, but he had done it to someone else prior to that.
I forget to who.
He did it to someone though, and he said, "Now I understand why it should be illegal."
I forget to who. But yeah, man. Let's see this aerial view. Fuck.
Yeah, bro, it's disgusting,
bad, bro. That looks bad.
It's a disgusting stomp, bro.
Even Daniel Cormier was like,
yeah, he covered his eyes. All the other guys are entertained, bro. Yeah, no, he got braced up right after that, man. Really. Yeah, so he won the round. So yeah, I recommend go watch that stomp kick. It's a nasty stomp kick. After that, you had Morono versus Zawanda. I mean, it as soon as I saw the beginning, like how they started, I was like, this is gonna be a 3-round fight, which it ended up being a 3-round fight. Morono ends up winning. He had more activity compared to Zawanda, so he ends up winning the match.
And then Aspen.
This was nasty. This was heavyweight.
Yeah.
And
this guy's the prospect, they're saying, man.
Yeah, so Aspinall came in, and this was his debut.
In the U.S.
In the U.S.
No, wait. I'm wrong.
It's his debut, from what I understood.
He's fought in the UFC already.
Aspinall?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Because I would heard that it was his debut. All right, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But it was interesting. He also got a knockout within the first round. He came in really intense as well, and he was able to get this guy knocked out. So it was a good and interesting fight to watch. I really recommend this one as well.
He had 2 fights in 2020 in the UFC.
Really?
He's undefeated right now.
He was
3
probably
knockouts, including the one we're talking about, and one submission. But all his fights have been during COVID, so he hasn't had any fans in attendance.
Oh, so yeah, he hasn't experienced that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other thing is he was probably in the preliminaries, right? Those other fights, they weren't part of a main card. Yeah, there's the knockout right there.
Yeah, for the most part, it looks like he was
Yeah,
probably
cause
on
I don't watch prelims as much. Like I know you like to do that sometimes
Oh,
and
bro,
stuff like that.
you'll see people like this are up and coming. That
Yeah,
are just
exactly. I don't.
putting it
I
down.
watch just main cards, so that's usually typically what I stick to.
Especially for pay-per-views, I'll watch prelims. Especially for pay-per-views,
Mm,
because they'll put good talent and good like not even up and coming, but just like good fights on prelims that are for pay-per-views for sure.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we had the after this we had that was the co-main. So then we had the main event, which Darren Till versus Brunson.
Derek Brunson.
Yeah. So what'd you think of that?
Well,
I mean, because we talked about several factors, off air, being one that Darren Till usually doesn't fight in the U.S., so that jet lag affects him. And also we talked about how like even when he was walking in, he came into no music, and he didn't even look as focused as he should be. So what else? You wanna
yeah,
add on
and
that?
for Darren Till, he's coming off of some losses. After he's moved up to 185, Derek Brunson's been actually winning ever since he lost Israel Adesanya, and it's kind of just this is one of those things that styles make matchups. You know, you're talking about a Muay Thai kickboxer type of style with Darren Till versus a wrestler and Derek Brunson, and Derek Brunson just imposed his wrestling on Darren Till, and Darren Till didn't do anything about it until this round that we're watching right now, the third round. He started throwing some kicks. He started really being more active with his hands. Um, and I think
Yeah, he had a very slow start. That is very true.
I think these are things he should have been doing from the beginning of the fight. You know, mixing things up with Brunson, so that way he's not able to set up his takedowns the way he does, and he has kind of guessing and stuff like that. Cause also you start attacking the legs the way you're supposed to. You're about to see right now soon. It starts making him guess more, and you become he like again he took too long realizing who his opponent was to realize that the takedowns are gonna come. But right now you start seeing him. One thing is that you see him. Since he's like a Thai boxer type of guy, he welcomes the clinch, cause Muay Thai fighters they'll fight in the clinch and they'll throw those knees. So every time you see him, he throws that knee, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why he welcomes it. But you have to be careful with someone like Derek Brunson, because once he locks his hands, that's when he gets that takedown.
Yeah, and the smart thing about Brunson is that when he takes you down, he doesn't take you down by the cage.
Yeah, he
He
tries to get
always
away from the
takes
ring.
you. He takes you down and he brings you where you're far away from the cage, so that you can't even use the cage to get back up. There was a lot of times where they clinched against the fence, and then Brunson would once he would do the takedown was away from the fence, so that he couldn't be close to the fence. So it's a pretty smart thing he does. The other thing too is the reason Brunson is able to get him is that he gives up his back. You
Yeah.
know, which is dangerous. Anytime you're fighting, against someone that fights on the ground, is giving up your back. It's unfortunate that he goes that way, trying to get out of it. He gives up his back, and we're watching it right now. So
Yeah, I
we're
know.
seeing it. He was trying to, get out of being out of the ground and pound. Gives up his back by accident and ends up getting submitted.
Yeah, and then Derek Brunson goes to the camera and calls out
Yeah,
uh,
Izzy.
Israel Adesanya. And honestly, man, I've seen Israel Adesanya fight enough wrestlers now that he'll be able to. It'll be the same fight.
Well, they've
that we
already
saw.
fought,
Exactly.
so it's like our Adesanya already knows what to do against him,
Yeah,
and it's not like
and he's not presenting anything new. He didn't come out
exactly.
with
He's
no
just been more
strikes.
conservative. That's all Brunson's been doing. He's just been more conservative. He hasn't been a wild boy like he's been before, because that was one of the things that was messing him up, is him being wild.
Yeah, desperation basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Because once he doesn't get, and that's the thing, that once he fights someone like Israel Adesanya has really good takedown defense. And one thing about him is that he's gonna get frustrated fighting someone like Izzy, that's not gonna be able to be taken down as easily. And that's the thing about Derek Brunson is we will see that different. Will he get better at his striking? But against someone else at Adesanya, I don't see him beating him.
He's already figured him out. Izzy's already figured him out.
To me, it's like
that's why Izzy
Brunson
doesn't.
needs to fight Cannonier. He needs to fight.
Well, he said that he welcomes it. Like he doesn't mind going to Cannonier, even though he wants the Izzy fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like that's why you don't see Izzy do rematches as well because it's.
Well, he's about to.
I mean, he doesn't do them as often.
Whether he likes it or not, Robert Whittaker deserves that.
Oh
rematch.
no, for sure. That I think he deserves that before Brunson.
For sure. I mean, no one else right now in this division deserves a title shot, in my opinion, besides Robert Whittaker.
And you're talking about a former champion as well in Whittaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because besides that, before that, the only other champion was GSP, and he's no longer there.
So the SP.
Got me SP.
All right.
But yeah, that's basically it.
Wrap it up, B.
This week coming up on UFC, we have Anthony Smith fighting, and he's had some crazy fights in his career, and especially as of lately. But since we just had this, not this weekend, but it was the weekend before that when we had the Ultimate Fighter. We crowned Trucios there. Who's fighting on this one? Nothing good. But at the end of the month, we have
I think most
the
of
coaches going at it.
Yeah, the coaches. Most of the other ones fought in that same card.
No, they already fought the
finalists.
Yeah, we already know them. It was Brian Battle and Ricky Trucios who won. But talking about UFC 266, where we have the featherweight championship up for grabs between the champion Alexander Volkanovski and Brian Ortega. I still need to finish the Ultimate Fighter, and even though I know who won.
Well, there was 3 fights in that one.
Just to see who was the who like how the coaches
they got there, yeah.
How the coaches kept on going at it and everything like that. But
the little pranks and everything.
Yeah.
How's the hostility between them?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But I have a question for you guys, just to end the podcast.
Tell it.
What do you guys look forward to the most in the sports world from now to the end of the year?
As like what sport I'm waiting for it to begin, or
no, like what event, what about sports are you looking forward to from now to the end of the year?
I'm looking forward to the Lakers, bro. And if possible, I would want to go watch them live.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I'm with you there. Without a doubt.
Same.
I know for example, we don't have, as far as I know, we don't have like a UFC main event yet for November or December. And I'm pretty confident that those are going to both be in Vegas, or at least one of them are going to be in Vegas. And I still want to go to a UFC event, guys.
Yeah.
So, besides the Lakers for me, I don't know yet. We don't know yet. But I have a strong feeling that the end of the year in December, we're going to see Charles Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier for the lightweight title. And I wouldn't mind being in Vegas for that.
Or the Lord can bless us and we can go to Abu Dhabi and watch it in Abu Dhabi.
No, Abu Dhabi's going to be next month in October.
Sponsored by Holly, dude.
You know that, right?
Or New Life.
So they're only going to be in Abu Dhabi in October, and they're coming back. And then,
but for a fight like that'd be interesting to go to Abu Dhabi.
Nah. I heard that pay-per-view is not even going to be a pay-per-view. It's going to be an ESPN Plus.
Really?
Card, yeah. But it's gonna be like it's gonna be where Jan Blachowicz fights against Glover Teixeira, and then Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan 2.
And that's not gonna be a pay-per-view.
It's gonna be an ESPN card.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They do that sometimes.
That title fight?
They do that sometimes. And then
Interesting.
In November, I'm not too sure if they're gonna go to Arizona, or I have a feeling the last 2 events are gonna be in. I was hearing something about New York in November, so that might happen.
Oh, I mean, the Arizona ones are also good, and that's close too.
But I'm pretty sure that the last 2 ones are going to be in Vegas. But for sure, December, they said that Vegas is going to be most likely when we see Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier. So that's what I'm looking forward to from now to the end of most likely going to my first UFC event, guys. So thank y'all for joining us today. Yeah. Joining us on Wednesday and next Monday. We're doing this live every week, 2 days a week. And if you don't catch it live, you can catch it on a podcast, because there's no promises that I'm keeping the live up, y'all.
How about on Twitch?
It depends on how I feel. Twitch as well. YouTube, Twitch. We'll be on Facebook soon. Who knows? But yeah. Thank you, Manny.
All right,
Thank you,
guys.
Byron.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
one.
Enzo Spirit.
Good
That's supposedly is
night.
here, but I don't feel it. Peace.
Good night.
Go to the still.